Hey y'all, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bailey.
Welcome to Livin on a Prayer.
We're two best friends who are here to keep it real and relatable.
Through life's hills and valleys, we're here to remind you we're all just living on a prayer.
Today, we are talking about love.
I need love. Got my mind made up.
I was thinking more like, L is for the way you look at me.
Love is patient, love is kind.
Oh, that was cute. It's a bop, man. That was good.
We're remixing it.
Remix. All right. So
I'm a DJ.
We're talking about love today.
Relationships,
y'all. So, like, if you've been listening, you know, I do be married. Kristen do be single. So we are out here talking about both sides of things today. We're talking about
what that looks like when you go to dinner with friends that are married with children versus when you go to dinner with friends that are
like all of it,
single.
Okay? Just the feelings of both sides, like they're hard, whichever side you're on, they can be fun.
The grass ain't always greener.
Yes, absolutely. So,
all right, let's dive in.
Anything you want to start with?
Yeah, this makes me really nervous.
Kristen's super nervous
to talk about this.
Yeah, she's nervous today. So
honestly, you know why I think? It's because society, community, like people make it weird for people that are single when they are older. Like once you're out of college, people, at least where we live, like you should be married. You should be wanting to have kids. It should be on your radar. Like you should be successful. It's like a whole thing. Well, yeah, like if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have been like, okay, at 23, I'm going to be married with like a baby or two, you know, like that's what it looked like for me. Obviously,
definitely
that's not
like
God's
a
plan.
Southern thing too. Like,
yeah, things are different.
Yeah.
And where we live, I read a quote recently that was like, what is it? 30 in the suburbs is 42 and 30 in a city is 22.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's true.
That's so true.
Yeah, like where Sage lives in California, like she's just getting married and she's like...
And how old is she?
She's 30. I don't even know. How old am I? How old are you?
I'm about to be 31.
So I'm
32.
You're 32. So she's 33. And sorry. But like all of her friends are just getting married. Like none of them have kids. Like they're just like, this is... And they think it's bizarre that I've been married for 10 years and have 3 kids.
Yeah.
They're like, wow.
Right.
Whoa. But like here.
Like it's so funny because when you're in that setting, like you just went on her bachelorette trip and you were with all people that you were probably one of the only moms, right?
Like her friends from here are all moms.
So it depends on where you go. I remember last year I went to a 30th birthday party for a friend, and we went to Austin, Texas, and there were people that came in from all over, like some people from New York, some people from California, some people from Texas, some from Louisiana. Like we were all really spread out all over the map. And like that was, I will say, one of the first times like I didn't feel so like alone.
Right, because they were like people that
people that were in the same like season of life, you know, and I can sit at a table with anybody and like, but I can't say that when I go home sometimes like those feelings don't like creep on me, right? Yeah, and then you like question things and you wonder blah 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 blah.
Why
like,
me? Why is there something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Or is it like why am I having to wait?
Or
and
like
they're not?
The other night I went to dinner with a few friends, and this question like comes up often of like, well, why don't you just get on the dating apps? I'm like, y'all think I ain't tried that? I'm on them. And let me just tell y'all.
She's on them.
They're cringe.
I made Kristen get a Hinge one night. I was like, let's just get a Hinge. Let's just do it.
And I said, I've already done it. And she's like, so why did you get rid of it? And I said, I'll tell you why. Because this guy messaged me like the weirdest, most uncomfortable message. And I was like, that's it.
This is not for me.
No, this is not for me. Like, I can't go on any like blind dates of like, I don't know these people beforehand. Like, I'm just going to go. There's no person that's setting us up that I know. I'm like, you could be a serial killer.
Yeah, no. But I was like, let's just do it. We were like sitting on the back porch. It was like late, and I'm like, let's just get you a Hinge. So
and her sister was there who lives in California, and she met her husband on Hinge, and she's like, look, Kristen, it's a numbers game. Like you got to go on like 19 dates to get one good one. And I was like,
oh shoot, I ain't got time for that.
And I said, Sage, are you kidding me? Like, and I'm like, and you live in California. Like, you live in a big city where, like, that's
it's
normal. It's like,
yeah.
You and your friends are, like, probably serial dating just to get, like, I've heard of people doing that literally just to get free dinner.
Right. Like, she's like, I mean, it's a meal, and she could talk to a wall. She was like, it's all right. Like, but, like, that's not for everybody. Like, I could not.
I can talk to a wall, but, like,
I can talk to
the
my
word
wall.
date, like, makes me
like, when no one's around.
and hive.
But, like, a date, like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But, so she was not really, like, wanting to do it, but I was like, I'm going to do this because I missed the dating app season because I met my husband before those were really a thing.
And I'm like, somebody give me
and I'm like,
babies.
Let me hold her babies. Let me get on your dating app. And I, like, made her profile, and it was kind of funny.
We had fun doing it. It was funny, but then you actually have to put it into action.
Yeah, and it is very interesting.
Yeah.
The dating app, to say the least. So that's kind of just, like, a silly...
Well, and then people will be like, okay, so, like, yeah, Hinge, whatever. Like, what's this one for? What's that one for? I'm like, I don't know. Well, why don't you get a Raya? Isn't that the one with, like, the rich, famous people? Like, that's the best one. And I'm like, are you paying the bill of $60 a month to get more likes?
To be on Raya?
To be on Raya? And they're like, well, maybe it's worth it in the end. Like, pay for the love. I'm like,
pay for the love. See, and it's, like, really one of those things, like, so easy for you to say, like, for people who are married or have families, and they're just, like, giving you all these ideas.
Yeah,
like,
get the app.
Have you gone to this place? I heard there's a lot of young singles there. Have you thought about moving, or have you thought about like, you're like, as if I haven't, like, thought about it.
Yeah, like, we've gone down the rabbit hole.
You want a husband just as bad as the people want you to have a husband, okay? Right. Like, so, yeah, and, like, for you, like, you put on such a good, like, not a front, but you do a really good job of not letting, like, your thoughts, like, get in the way of, like, your happiness for other people. I think that's, like, a really big thing, and, like, a really... I know that's hard.
Yeah.
To, like, be genuinely, like, so happy for all these people and, like, attending all these weddings and all the things.
Oh, I don't think it's hard, but it does make my mind
wonder.
Well,
that's what I mean. Yeah, like, you were talking about, like...
Some people it may be hard for. Like, I have friends that are like, why not me? Like, why is it not me? I don't want to go to another wedding. I don't want, like... Cool, like, this friend has another news of they're having their third baby. Like, and I don't even have a boyfriend. Like, I have friends that will say that. And I'm like, that's just their, like, for me, I'm like, that's their walk.
It's easy for you to, like,
separate it.
Which is really
it's very
good.
different.
Because that is really hard for people, I feel like, sometimes to, like, go. And, like, you've said, like, when you go to a wedding, that's when it, like, makes you just kind of think, like,
well, like, I look at two people and I'm like,
I love love.
I want somebody to look at me like that. And, like, I want people to support that and be surrounded by all of that. And, like, wow, you can definitely tell that these two people, like, can't do life without each other. Or don't want to do life without each other. And it's
you
like,
admire it.
I want that.
Yeah. You do.
You know? The books and the movies. It's like,
the
you,
movies.
like, yeah, like, you read it all or you watch it and you're like,
oh, that's sweet.
Cool. Why not me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, though.
I mean, and if I wasn't having these thoughts, like, I don't think I would be normal.
No.
Or I don't think that would be something that I would want.
Right. Like, you know you are called to have a husband and a family.
Yeah.
And you want it, and you're just, like, patiently, you're like, okay, so where?
Yeah.
When and where?
When, I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day, I think where I am in my journey in my life right now is, like, I am very blessed with wonderful parents who provide a lot for me, right? And, like, in where we are in the economy in the world and, like, me being able to do what I love to do and what I want to do currently, like, would not pay the bills for me.
Right.
As a single woman. Yeah. Like, I'll just call it out.
Yeah.
And I recently, like, spoke with someone who, like, is in pharmaceutical sales and has wonderful benefits and, like, owns their own home and can travel here and can do this and can spend all this money on everything.
Right.
And, like, they have it all and whatever. But, like, they don't love their job. They're not, like, so passionate about it. They, like, do it because it pays the bills and because they like their lifestyle.
Right.
Which it's like, I know that if I want to live the lifestyle that I'm living, I'd be having to get another job.
Right.
But I would not be so happy and, like, so fulfilled, right? So, like, I'm very blessed in that. But then I have conversations like that, and I have moments where I'm like, but I want to do it for myself. Like, And, you know, a lot of people are like, well, you just got to find you a rich man to just, like, marry. And I'm like, yeah, I would be
That would
great
be
and all,
an
but,
easier
like,
transition.
I am such a competitive person with myself that I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to be able to buy the nice car. I want to be able, like, I went somewhere really nice with my mom recently, and I'm like, Mom, I want to be able to pay for this trip for us.
You want to take your mom on a nice
And my
trip.
mom's like, just let me do it. And I'm like, I'm going to let you do it because I can't do it right now.
Well,
but,
I
like,
can't really afford it right
my
now.
goal is, like, not to, like, marry someone that I can...
That's going to just provide for you.
That's just going to, like, let me take my mom on a trip. Like, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to buy the house that I want and still be able to travel. And
You
like,
have goals for yourself that you want to fulfill.
Right. And so, like, it just makes my mind wander in that way of, like, you know, what does that really look like?
Right.
And, like...
Yeah, and it's like for you, I mean, like I literally said it last night. I was like, I mean, your husband has to be rich. Like, because we just, like, know you as you love this lifestyle and all these things, but I know your heart, and I genuinely believe you would give all that up for, like, a godly husband and kids and all the
good
things.
Man.
So, like, you're not just looking for a rich man, you know? Like, you're out there, you're looking for your man, your husband.
And I want to be able, like, if I want to go buy myself something nice, like, I want to be able to do it. Now, at the end of the day, like, would I love for somebody to, like, come and take care of me and be like, hey, you don't have to work if you don't want to. If you want to keep working, great. Like,
right, for sure.
Whatever.
That's like everyone's dream.
Let's have some babies and, like, let's do it.
Like,
you
how
know?
nice. But, like, that's not always the reality. Like, especially in this world that we're in, like you said. Like,
but also, like, I like working. I like being a busy bee. Like, I have hobbies. I want to do,
you have goals.
Like, other
That's
stuff.
the main thing. Like, we've talked about your business numerous times, but, like, you're still in the, like, beginning baby stages of your business. Like, this, you're in the grind right now. Like, you're not, did you see that thing I sent you on Instagram?
Yeah.
It was, like, the first 5 years of your business are not for you to get rich. It's for you to grow and learn. So, and they're the hardest years usually because you are, like, losing money and making mistakes and learning from all that stuff. But, like, you're in the beginning of that. And, like, your business will grow and be big one day. And you will be like, I'm going on the vacation with my mom.
Yeah.
Like, because you have the mindset to achieve these things and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like 100%. But you just want someone by your side to do it with. You know, you don't need
like,
him
let's grow an empire.
Grow together.
Yeah.
And, like, do these things together and, like, work hard together. And I think that's something in, like, the world we're in now. Like, back in the day, obviously the wife, like, didn't work. She was home with the kids. She cooked. She did all these things, which I am a mom, I know, a full job in itself.
Right.
But there's something about, like, getting to live out our dreams and passions too that is so, like, incredible, and, like, getting to work and not feeling like you're just tied to, like, cook, clean, kids. Like, you have a bigger calling than that, and, like, and some people don't, and that's fine. Some people just, that is all they want to do.
And who knows, like you said before, like, 5 years from now, this may look very different.
Yeah.
5 years from now,
you may be like,
my thought of it, I might
just
be
wanna
like,
be a mama.
I don't want to work.
No.
Or, like, I want to do a little bit here. Whatever.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like later
that
on.
kind of
but
stuff changes all the time.
I have found myself lately, like, in this journey of figuring out, like, what my, like, true passion and purpose is. It's like, I know that whatever I, like, set into and, like, put my heart into, like, I'm going to be good at, because that's my personality, and I'm going to make sure I'm good at it.
And
I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, you're not,
But, like, what is, like, the true calling and the true purpose? Like,
what is that? Where is that?
Right. And I'm trying to find that right now, and it's harder. Like, I find myself comparing, and I know I say it all the time.
We know.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I understand. I know it, but it's hard
happens.
not
We're
to.
We're humans. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah. Like, I look around me and I see, like, some of my friends, like, selling houses that are $500,000 to buy houses that are $800,000. And I'm like, how are they doing it? I mean, like, I know that they have a dual income household, but, like, they also have kids. They're still living, like, these extravagant lives. They're going here. They're going there. They're doing this. They're doing that. And they're doing... And I'm like, the other day, I literally was like, all right, Jesus, the bank account's, like, really running low. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've promised this. I've got to do this. I'm going here. I'm going there. Like...
How is this gonna...
And, like, I literally just, like, speak out loud, and I'm, like, rocking back and forth. And, like, this is very new for me, just with the change of job. And, like,
right. It's new. You don't have, like, a...
security.
Same income, like, paycheck, you know?
And so I'm just like, I don't really like how this feels. I don't...
It's uneasy.
Right? And then, like, I get a new client. And
Right.
it's like, Jesus will provide. I know he will. Like, you just have to trust in that. You have to work hard. You have to
Right.
do all these things. But it's like, that is a little bit of where I'm at in that
part
shift.
of, yeah, and your season, like your waiting season for your husband is actually like a big season for you.
For growth.
For growth.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's something too that can get like, I want a husband. Why me? Da da da. But sometimes you like look, which you probably will look back and be like, I am so glad I met my husband after like I went through all of this growth and these things, and I had like I was ready to be the wife that like he deserves because of that. And like I always say, like me and Aaron when we met, like we were so young, we could have grown together or grown apart. Like we were at such crazy, and it's like, man, we're really, really lucky we grew together. But sometimes, like, when you meet someone at 18, 19, 20 years old, like, you are not ready to be a wife. Are you kidding me? We're still kids.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, so, obviously, God puts us with our spouse at the right time. But, like, sometimes the timing that feels right to us, like, I remember saying, too, like, I was going to get married and had my first baby at 23. Like, that was my, like, age. And, I mean, in high school, I guess, like, 23 sounds old. But it ain't.
No, it's
23. Do not be old.
It's young.
Okay.
Live out your 20s.
But to me, I was
kids.
like 23. I want to have my first kid and da-da-da. You make all these plans for yourself, and then
And it doesn't always
obviously
look like that.
God's plan is different. But just like appreciating and like realizing what season you're in, what you're doing, and knowing like God has me here and my focus on this for a reason right now, and the rest is going to fall into place. And he's just preparing you, your heart, your bank account, whatever it is, for your husband and for your marriage.
I have a lot of people too that tell me like, you're so picky, like that's why you don't have somebody. And I'm like, shouldn't you be picky when you're picking
the rest of your life partner?
Your life partner, somebody you're going to live with every day, that you are going to build a life with, that you, if you want to have kids with, that you like to travel the same, that your families are similar.
This is like one of the things you should be like the most pickiest about. Your
Church,
husband
like,
is your
all
most
these
important
things.
person in your life.
Well, and I told my mom, and I had this conversation the other day. I don't know what got brought up, but we were talking through something, and I'm like, see, and this is why I'm picky, because it's like all of these things line up to like be important. And if you aren't on the same page with them in the beginning, like of who you are and morals, what you want and where you want to go, then like that's gonna get rocky, and then there's gonna be resentment.
There's
and when you bring kids into it, like, it's a whole nother ball game. Like, you're no longer just living for your relationship. You're now living for your children. You're modeling what they see for when they get into relationships. And I have so many friends that are married. I have siblings that are married. I have so many friends that are single. But it's like, I watch every relationship. Like, there are a lot of my friends that have been married for a few years that are now like running into big marriage problems.
Yeah, and that's like something I think in the South we just like run into marriage sometimes too. Like, it's just like, oop, found him. He's cute. He's this. He's that. And like,
he checks the boxes. It looks
not
good.
As picky as we should be.
Let's get married.
And then like later in life, when the big things come, the big challenges, the big like the children, all the things, like it's not as easy because you're like,
but
wait,
it's even
you don't
sometimes
agree?
Bigger things. It's like when spouses have career shifts.
Yeah.
That totally like rocks a family's world.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Is it a money thing? Are they living the same way? Were you not happy? You have to change your career, and then somebody else has to go back to work. Like, is it a move?
There's always something.
Did they handle the move well? Is it addiction?
Yeah.
Is it something else?
There's always
like,
something.
Always. And so it's like you have to.
You're
I think
picking
that's
your life teammate. Are you kidding?
And
Be
that's
picky.
why I think I sit back so much, and I'm like, okay, so what does this look like? Because whoever it is, like, when that comes up,
can they handle that?
Are we gonna have a conversation? Are we gonna tackle it? Or are we just gonna like
tackle each other?
Yes, literally. What does that look like? You know,
for sure. And that's like such a blessing though, that you're like wise enough to see that by the time you do meet your husband, like you're gonna be like so mentally like,
oh, this
aware,
makes sense, and this is it.
And you know, and it's so cool because like, I mean, think about when you're 20. Okay, like, are you kidding me?
Right.
The fact that I met Aaron when I was a fresh 21
Yeah.
and thought I had any business truly being a wife at that time is pretty comical, like looking back. And that's why I'm always like, man, we are blessed.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, it's just like I even think back to like past relationships of who I was with when I was 17, when I was 19, 20, when I was 22. And it's what was the longevity in those? Like, we could have decided like that was just going to be it.
Some of these people that you dated, like, could have you could have married.
Right. And then, like, what would that look like
today?
Now at 30, 31 years old? Like,
real life.
Knows?
What would it look like in real life?
Right. And in the direction that I went and they went, and like, what would that really have looked like? I don't know. We can't go backwards. It obviously didn't happen
wasn't your
for
people,
a reason, but it's...
You didn't settle.
But that's why, like, I have been, like, I'm not a serial dater. Like, I don't...
You're not just trying to, like, date.
No,
date.
I'm not. Yeah. And some of my friends are like, you got to go on a date, like, here or there just so you can, like, test the waters and just see and give people chances. And I'm like, but here's the other thing. I value my time so much.
Yeah, you're like,
and maybe this is something that's wrong with me, or not wrong with me, but like
something that you could maybe ease up
I might need to shift a little, but I value my time so much that I would so much rather like spend time with people that I already like have an invested relationship with rather than going and like seeing if like this just works because I just like need to go on a date because I need to go on a date.
You just
need
to find a husband, so you're just gonna like.
Last night I sat at dinner with Bailey and two of our other friends who all of them are married. All different, like very different scenarios and walks of life of like when they started dating, how they got married. You know, Bailey has 3 kids. The other 2 have 2 and they're roughly the same age. But like they were all talking about stuff. Bailey and I were sitting across from each other. They were all talking about stuff like about their kids and spouses and just, like,
hopping.
Yeah. And granted, like my sister has 4 children. My brother has 1
like
son.
It's relatable conversation.
I've been around kids my whole life, right?
Yeah,
and
truly.
now I'm around their kids. So it's like I know a lot about children.
Live it. Yeah.
I live around children a lot, but like I am not the mom, right? So they're talking about a ton of stuff and I'm just sitting there and I'm like listening and I'm bebopping my head around and I'm just like, I can't give any part of the conversation about a kid waking up at 5 a.m. and giving this antibiotic and this rash happening and then
we really were.
Tubes and then going to this. Like, I'm listening and I have
You're
been
like
through
engaged.
it as an aunt, but it's not me. And so I'm engaged and I'm listening in the conversation but can't really give my 2 cents. And Bailey and I, like, Bailey was moving her head from one way to the other. I'm moving my head from one way to another and I'm like... Bailey catches me and we just start cracking up laughing. She's like, I wasn't going to call you out, but now I'm going to call you out because now I'm laughing and everybody's like watching.
I'm sorry. You're just not.
We're sorry. You're just here.
I'm like, well, she was being so sweet because like sometimes people would be, I don't know, they'd either be kind of shutting down like, I have nothing to give, or they're just like, can we change the subject? Y'all's kids aren't here. Like I've had that kind of like, come on, don't talk about your kids. We're at dinner, like girls' night. But you were just so preciously like... You were smiling and looking, but I could read like what you were thinking, and you're just like, yeah,
I can't give much.
Never
to
seen
this.
that rash.
But it's like
never woke up that early.
But like when I go to dinner, I went to dinner the night before with 3 moms. Like these are my friends, right? These are my friends, and this is who I'm with and want to spend time with, and like. Those are y'all's lives, and like those are my friends' lives, and they're important to me too. To like listen and what they're going through and what their daily walks look like, right? Very different from mine. And like when it's my time to talk or somebody wants to ask about what's going on or I want to put my input of like,
you will.
Sorry, y'all woke up at 4 a.m. with your kid. I went to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah, she literally was like, oh, I went to bed at 4 a.m. the other night. And we're like, oh, cool. Tell us more.
Yeah. So
that?
It's like, sorry.
Like?
Yeah. I can't input to the waking up at 4 a.m. But I
did go
I did go to bed at 4 a.m. because I went out and about and had myself a little time. And they're like, wow, wonder what that's like. Could never do it.
Like, wow.
Can't do that anymore.
I can't even stay up past midnight. That's risky business there.
Yeah.
Well, but it's just, I mean, and I think just a lot of people can relate to you. I've had like people who really I've seen since we've done this have spoke to both of us like, oh, it's so refreshing. Like I'm in that same waiting season and I want a husband so badly and I want all this so badly. But just to like see Kristen and know I'm not alone and like feel like we can relate to each other. Like it can feel lonely, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, you sometimes
sure.
feel isolated, like you're the only one without a husband.
Well, and a lot of times now too, like when I want to travel or like go places, it's like,
oh yes,
I want to, this is a big thing. And
we talked about this recently.
it's really hard when you like want to go places or trips, or like I'll get a ticket to a concert and I'll be like, who can come with me? And so then I'll go down my like list of friends and I'm like, has 3 kids, probably can't get a babysitter tonight. Oh, this one. Or like I'll call them and they'll be like, I got to talk with my husband and see like if we have any plans or like if he would be okay watching the kids. And I'm like, ugh.
It's just kind of a bummer.
Like it's kind of a bummer when you want to hang out with somebody, but then also like to be reminded that like they've got to check. They
can't go because they have a family and they got to check in first. And I'm just here like,
let's just go.
Let's go.
Right. And then, but then it's like on the flip side, I haven't gotten in fights with friends, but like, you know, you have those uncomfortable conversation of friends being like, well, you go here with these people all the time and like, you don't invite me. Yeah. And I'm like, do you know how hard it is to get told no from you over and over again? Yeah. Like, so yes, at some point, like I have to stop inviting you because it's actually hard for me, even though I really want you to come, but like
it's just
you
hard.
Can't. And then they'll open up and say like, well, it's really hard for me sometimes to just see like, I wish I could pack my bag and go. Like, not that I don't love my kids, but like it is. Yes. I'm in a totally different spot.
Yes, and I'm
that's
like, the like grass is not always greener
right.
thing, cause like.
But I told
so true.
I told somebody recently. I'm like, okay, your kids are like 4 and 6, and like by the time like I'm traveling and going and whatever, but by the time I start having kids. You and your husband are going to have a ton of money and you're going to be able to go travel like to Europe for 3 weeks because your kids are going to be in college and I'm going to be raising babies.
Yeah, it's true.
So like our seasons are going to look different and I'm going to be like, you want to come change these diapers so I can go to Europe with you?
Yeah, like dang, have fun in Europe.
Right. So it's like.
It comes when it's supposed to come for you.
Yeah.
Like
and it's different. And if you're dealing with that in like friendships, it's hard.
It's tough.
But like you have to be able to not put yourself in the other person's shoes, but like at least look at the different scenarios and like have conversations about that. Cause a lot of times I'll have friends say that and I'm like, but you don't understand how lonely it is.
Yeah. And what you have that I desire. Like that's something like I'm so gracious to like have you and to like be like brought to earth with these kind of things sometimes. Cause like it could be so easy. I've heard people say it to you, like, must be nice to just travel all the time. Must be nice to just pick up and go. And it's like, first of all, must be nice is just never a nice thing to really say to people because, like, it's coming from a place of like jealousy or like, and to say, like, must be nice to travel all the time. Like, so you did also pick to have the children and have the husband and stuff. So, like, if you wanted that life, like, you should have done it already, or just like be present with your season and know, like you just said, like I always have to remind myself, like these kids will be grown one day and I will get to like go on a trip if I want, you know, and I won't have as bad of mom guilt because they'll be like, okay, mom, cool, I'm go.
I don't want to hang out with
like
you
they're
anyway,
not even
Mom.
gonna want me.
Yeah.
But you have to just kind of like check yourself and what you're saying. Like it is nice that she gets to do that, but it is not her number one priority to travel all the time. She does it because she can. She's living. It's fun. She enjoys it. But at the same time, she wants what we have. Like
I get invited somewhere, I'm able to pack a bag and just go. Like I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to wait for somebody to watch my kid or make sure that somebody's available and I can figure it out.
And that freedom, like I don't even remember what that's like truly, like, but it is such a blessing. Yeah. And you know it's that. Great. You're like,
I love it.
Like, I can do this. Like, I don't have to, like, respond to someone or, like, ask a question. And when that does come, you're going to graciously love that, too. But, like, right now, like, you just are enjoying that.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. Yeah. I literally, I don't remember what we were talking about. Like, it must have been the sleeping thing. And, like, you're like, oh. And I was thinking about just, like, I don't even remember what it's like to just like sleep in and like truly just sleep in. And I like was trying to like clock back to like before we had kids, and I was like, whoa, like because I don't know what it was. It was me and Aaron were maybe talking about sleeping in. He's like, I can't sleep past if I tried. And I'm like, me either. It's just our body clocks. And he said something like, I could never sleep till like 11 or whatever it was. I'm like, you used to sleep till like 2. Like, you could sleep all day before we had kids. Like if we went out the night before, and he's like, what? Like, I don't even like remember that. I'm like, dude, I know. But it's like, you're so removed from it that you get so like, you're just like,
when you just get in your,
must be nice to sleep in. But like,
but also when people say stuff to me about like sleeping in, like 9 a.m. to a lot of parents and some of my friends is sleeping in. But to me, I'm like, I went to bed at 2 a.m. So from 2 to 9, like that's the same amount of hours that you got from 10 to 6.
Right. That is
10
something
to
that
5.
like Kristen gets like so, because she's like, people tell me I never sleep. I do sleep. My hours are just different
than yours.
Like my sleep starts at 2 and I wake up a little later because I don't have to wake up and tend to children and make everyone breakfast.
I don't go to bed at 10 p.m. because you put your kids down at 7.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's just different seasons.
I had this like little thing recently, like this thought. I was going somewhere. I wanted to go somewhere, and I was with somebody that was married, and they were like, let's just stay in and like have dinner here, and like we were somewhere, and I was like, okay, and like I was okay with it because I wanted to spend time with them, but like a lot of times
you're like,
no, a lot of times I'm like, I'm not gonna meet a husband sitting on this couch.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna meet a husband.
It is
hanging out at the
in the
hotel room. Like
you're like, anytime I'm out in public is a chance for me to maybe meet my husband.
Yeah, you just never know. Even when I'm on an airplane, like
hey,
when people tell me all the time,
her husband on an airplane.
When people tell me all the time, like you're always traveling, I'm like, you don't know if the husband that I'm supposed to meet is the man next to me.
Wait, you do know? Like I have a friend who met her husband on an airplane.
No, but I don't like to talk on airplanes. Really, I put my earbuds in.
Kristen,
and I like,
take your little pods out of your ears.
I know.
You're not even trying.
I am.
I know.
I read the room.
Trust me, I know. Yeah.
Cute boy comes and sits next to me, like maybe so.
If
but
not everything's checking off, leave him in.
Yeah.
But if he's kind of cutie, take him out.
Okay, wait. Let's go to this now that you're saying like he's kind of cutie, because we talked about this last night. Like when you're on these dating profiles, and this gets me all the time. Like it's like some people aren't as cute in their pictures, or like.
Remember we talked about this on another episode? The pictures?
Yeah, the pictures, like when you look at a sunset,
like,
or like even yourself.
This picture does no justice.
Right. And it's like,
what do you really look like?
People will show you like, okay, this is him, but like he doesn't really look like that in person. I'm like, so what does he look like? Or,
yes,
you know.
Can you send me a video?
Or it's
like.
Yeah. But it's like the way of the world is like people want you to be on these dating profiles. They want you to like look at what they write about themselves and these pictures.
Quotes.
And it's like, A, you could be being catfished for sure. But also creepy. B, it's like a lot of people fall in love because of who somebody is as a person. So it's like with where we are in life, it's really hard unless you're in social situations, unless you sometimes have mutual friends, or you just like get in the middle of a conversation wherever you are, like about why you're there and what you're doing, and then it goes from there. It's like we don't give people the time of day,
true chance.
Yeah,
if you see a photo and he's not like top notch 10, a full 10, you're gonna be like, no, because all you saw was that picture.
Yeah, it's like a visual thing.
Also, people like a lot of times like. Again, pictures don't do justice. Like you see a picture of someone, you're like, not really my type.
Yeah.
But like, had you met him in person, like you're saying, he may have like such an incredible, just like personality and energy
that makes him like so attractive
to him before you even saw his
face. Which is also really important because as you grow older,
yeah, baby, we start not looking as good.
Right. Like I am not gonna look like this when I'm 65.
It is not about. Really,
so if somebody falls in love with the way I look, yes, it's very important. But like if you fall in love with the way I look, like I'm not always gonna look.
You want them to fall in love with what's
me.
Inside of you.
Yeah, and who I am.
And that's how you feel too.
Yeah, like I want to fall in love with somebody who has the same.
Wrong with a looker.
No. I mean,
shout out to Erin.
She did say this last night though. Like, God, it must be embarrassing to like not have a hot husband.
Well, because like she was like looking and she was like almost like, oh, it's not really my type, and I'm like, if you don't think your husband is like hot, like then don't. Yeah. Like, you don't need to be with him.
Well, one of our other friends was like, oh my God, but he really is awesome, and like you're not even like giving him the chance. I'm like, truthfully, like if I'm not like looking at him like I want to make out with him,
Right.
Like, I want to make out with my husband every day that I get home.
Same.
I don't know. Maybe that'll change in like
no
20 years.
You still do. You just don't really like have the energy to make out every day. But you're like, you look really hot. I want to make out with you, but I have to go. One of the kids.
I gotta go take care of our kids. Yeah.
But like seriously though, like, and everyone's like attraction is different. Like someone that Kristen is not attracted to, like I may think is like, what do you mean you don't think he's cute? Like he's so like. I think it is important to be picky about the details of your husband because that's your partner and that's who you're spending the rest of your life with. And
but
like,
at the end of the day, like I want their heart to be
just as make out kissable as their face.
Okay, that is not what I was going for. I was going for like, I want this person to be who I can grow with, and I want to fall in love with them. I want to fall in love with their personality and who they are and what they want.
What they stand for, like how they treat you, how they
treat other people.
Father, like all the things, where their relationship is with God.
And I've just seen so much, like through my siblings and through my best friends of really, really high points in their marriages and really, really low points. And I think that is why I've been so picky. Because I've watched it, and
like
I've watched people I love and care about go through some really, really hard stuff that, like, then they'll say, ooh, this wasn't talked about.
Right.
Or this
we weren't prepared for this. And you never are. Like, marriage is something you work at every single day. And it's hard. It is hard. But you've witnessed like some things to where you're just like kind of have a wall up. You're like, okay, so that could happen. Mm-hmm. And they didn't expect that to happen. And it did. That could happen to me. Like, I got to pick like who I'm picking.
Well, and
that's
also,
a lot of pressure.
Well, and when you marry somebody, clearly not married. So, but again, watching this happen.
Single. I'm always trying to.
Like people marry your family. Whoever you marry, they marry your family and you marry their family. So like you have to be on board. Yeah. They have to be on board. And like I'm very close to my family. So if you don't want to come around my family and you don't want to experience our crazy because it is cuckoo cuckoo around my house a lot of times. Like
but if you don't like that, like that's not your person.
It's not for I'm not for you. I may be for you, but my whole life may not be for you.
Right. Which is like such a good point. I think that like people do sometimes like, oh, but I love him so much. I love him so much. But this is what he does. And this is where he's from. And this is what he does.
Well, and I have so many friends that are like, I love my husband and I am in love with my husband. Yeah. But his family does this. His mom does this. Yeah. This happens. And I'm like, me, who's not married, says, well, those are the people that made him. Yeah. Those are the people and the experiences and that's life
important to him
that made
where he comes from, you know?
Him who he is.
Right.
So like you fell in love with this man because of that. So either you have to love that too, or he's really not for you.
Yeah, you have
I don't know. Really easy for me to say when it's not me.
It definitely is easy for you to say, but also it's like a good reminder from someone on the outside looking in. It's like.
But I think that's why me as someone who's single looks at it like that. And I'm like, okay, you're paying really attention. You're really not just marrying that one person. You're marrying them.
Their life.
You're marrying their mom, their dad, their step-parents, their siblings.
Their dog.
Their sister-in-law.
I did make Aaron, like, get rid of his dog when we met.
But that's big
like, I
important
was like, I can't have that dog.
But we were talking about this last night, too. It's like, I love dogs. I don't love cats.
If someone has a cat, that's a no for you.
Sorry.
I'm allergic to cats.
You may be a really wonderful person. I don't like cats. They freak me out.
Maybe they'll love you enough to maybe they love you more than they love their cat. Aaron loved me more than he loved his dog, clearly.
I can't believe you made him get rid of his dog.
So I had a dog. I had a little dog and he had a big dog. He rescued it. It's pit bull. Kind of freaked me out, to be honest.
Oh, so you were like, it's my dog, or?
To be honest, it kind of had some weird skin issues. It kind of just grossed me out.
Sorry, Aaron.
And I was just like, oh, I don't really like that dog.
Dog.
He was like, okay. Because him and his friend lived together and kind of owned the dog together. And I was like, maybe he'll just keep it. And he's like, okay. And they were boys, they don't care. And he's like, you can keep the dog. And he's like, okay.
Interesting.
And I was like, phew.
Yeah.
That could have been of an issue because had you asked me to get rid of Hartley, I would have been like,
absolutely not.
I literally remember thinking if he does, the day he met Hartley, I'm like, if they don't vibe, he ain't it. Like, I remember thinking that.
Your dogs know.
And he brought her a stuffed animal, and I was like, this is the man of my dreams.
I don't like amphibians either. You got a snake. It's a no-go.
Are you kidding me? I haven't heard that word since, like, preschool.
Anything with scales is not it. Ugh.
Yeah, no.
If you can kill a snake outside, great. If you have a pet snake, you're not for me.
Not for Kristen.
But it's just like little.
So speaking of if you're for Kristen.
What?
I am taking applications.
Oh, gosh.
So here's this idea I have. You know, everyone has a single friend that they're trying to set up, that they're like, I don't know why they're single. They're just incredible. They're perfect. They're just like, be the best wife in the world. Like, that's how I feel about Kristen. I know there's people out there that have a man that they feel the same way about. So if you have someone you know in your life, this is an advertisement, send me a DM and let's get them set up on a date. We're going to do a dating show. If I can get 3 applications, like to me, not to her, send them to me. I got to review these things because I know my friend. I would like to start a little series, a mini series.
You can't look at it though and be like, I would date this person or I wouldn't date this person.
I can't. I know you.
Yeah?
I know you, but I also know, like, maybe there's some things that could be like good different that you don't want, you know?
You know what I hate when people tell me? You can change that about a man. Like, if you don't like this, like, you can change that. And I'm like, I have enough to work on for myself. Like, I don't want to change someone. If I have to change someone, like, if they're not for me.
If it's his, like, clothes, you can change that. Like, some guys don't really know what to wear. You could just be, like, a nice little influence.
But, like, if you're not.
I get it. You want them to just, like, already have style. But, like, some guys don't. And they need a little direction.
But, like, I want whoever
That's what I'm
marrying,
saying. If
like,
you send me an application
me.
and you don't dress, like, perfect, I'll dress you for the date.
But what is perfect? You just...
I don't know. You have something in your head.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, like, whoever it is, like, I want you to be confident in what you have.
Yes,
like,
your style.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Or if people are like, oh, their hair is bad.
I am not kidding, though. If you know someone who you feel like is a candidate for Kristen, find me. Send me info. I would love to get 3 potential men.
What would you say are some characteristics they have to have?
Have to have?
Yeah, have to have.
Okay, have to have, obviously, a godly relationship. If you're Catholic, I personally think that is a bonus just because she's so passionate about it that I feel like it'd be really nice for y'all to, like, hop into that journey together.
Well, that's a big thing when you start raising kids. Yeah. I think that's also why I'm so not picky about that, but I've also had friends who get married and their husbands convert to Catholicism.
Great. And then when the kids come in, they're like, how are we going to raise our kids?
Yeah, but it's like the husbands will convert to Catholicism. Right. And I'm like, wow, that's really a beautiful thing for someone to want to do for someone they love. Like, yeah. That's great. Those are things I look at and I'm like,
so if you're even just open to that idea.
Anyway.
I think that's good. Gosh. See, I think, like...
What?
I don't want to say too much because I don't want to put a cap on it.
Okay.
I think, like, obviously you have to have ambition. You have to have goals. You have to, like, have a career.
Yeah.
Have, like, some big, like, you like to travel. You don't want to stay put.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you like to be adventurous. You don't, like...
You want kids.
Not a homebody. You want children. Multiple children.
Whatever Jesus will give us.
But she would like more than one.
Yeah. If Jesus gives it to me.
Yeah. That's cute. That's good. I'm over here capping things off. But truly.
I can't make the plan. I'm trying to surrender.
Yes. Honestly, I mean, you have to be financially stable. Not wealthy. Just
someone told me one time that they were that a guy that they knew that everybody thought that we should get set up with was like came to my parents' house for a party, and then they were like they just like can't measure up. So like I'm like, my dad is 64,
right?
Sorry, 63. He's gonna be 63 this week. 63 years old. Right. I don't expect any man that marries me to be able to give me what my parents have.
Give you. And that's something that actually, like, some guys could just be intimidated by your lifestyle because they're like, I could never give her that, and they don't even
I can't give myself that.
Yeah, so maybe you should, like,
what?
look a little more like,
No.
I need help. I'm just kidding.
No.
Okay, but basically, all right, y'all hear me loud and clear. If you got somebody on your mind, you know somebody, send them to me, because I'm ready for this dating series.
It goes down in the DMs.
It's going down in the DMs, all right? At Bailey Metrogene on Instagram. I'm ready. I'm setting up a dating series for my friend.
Let's go.
I really feel passionate about this. I think it could be fun. And like,
Bachelorette.
what if you find your husband?
What if?
Will you accept this rose?
If they're purple.
Oh, we can have purple roses on the series.
That would be cute.
Okay, great. So y'all heard it here first. We're gonna find Kristen a husband. Maybe.
Or
we're just gonna have a fun time.
Yeah.
But you have to go out of the box. Like, you have to go on a date.
Okay.
You have to make time in your schedule.
I will.
Okay.
It's
gonna
be all right.
fun.
Bailey has a Bible verse.
Oh, for Kristen.
For me.
There you
that
go.
she read me that really, really hits home. So what does God say about waiting for a husband? Matthew 6:33. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. So saying, as a wife in waiting, you need to be in prayer that your future husband, above all else, is seeking Christ and his kingdom first in his life. So that goes for both ways. Both ways. You know, like my prayer every night, and I spoke with a Christian counselor about this years ago, but every night she's like, you have to put it into fruition too. So like in working on yourself, you have to pray for that man. You have to pray for his family. You have to pray for your future children and for all of these things. But you have to say like, thank you, Jesus, for giving me this. Thank you for working on his heart, for, you know,
working
his,
on your
his mom
heart,
and his dad, raising him to be the man
who
that
he is.
Or whoever in his life is shaping him to be that person for you and all these things. So if you're in that season, like that's what I do. I don't know if that will help you.
Like seek the kingdom, seek God. Like he will provide. Like he will. You just have to like
he always
trust and pour into him. That relationship comes first regardless. Like hopping into the marriage side of things, I've learned that the more we pour into Jesus, the better our marriage is. The husband of the flesh of the husband is never going to be as important as seeking the kingdom, you know, and you can't have that good marriage and have that foundation without God. So guess we'll go into the marriage side of things. It's not as, I mean, I'll tell my story of how me and Aaron met, which is actually really funny because you're like, I am not going to go on a blind date. And that's how me and Aaron met.
I'm not saying I wouldn't go on a blind date.
But I was just
someone set y'all up.
Someone set us up, mutual.
The dating app
blind dates.
Of somebody not knowing
creepy.
Freaks me out.
Yeah, that's scary because you don't know where they came from. Like at least my situation was someone like, oh yeah, I know him, went to high school with him. Like, so I'm like, all right, he's hopefully not gonna kill me.
Right.
But I still should have never just let him pick me up like that. I could have died.
Times were different.
So about, I guess, like almost 13 years ago is when I went on a blind date with Aaron.
I love that. And where'd you go?
We went to Chimes.
Oh.
And I set it up to where my friend, Gabby, shout out, she worked there, and literally we lived together at the time. Like she was my roommate. And he was from the South Shore, and I was like, oh, I know a place. And like all my friends worked there at the time. And I'm like, Gabby, we're coming.
So it's okay that he picked you up because you knew you were going somewhere that if you were like, abort.
They knew that I was coming there. Like we had it all set up. Gabby had been like holding us a table, and it's like a Friday night. It's so busy at Chimes, but she's like, have you a table like whenever you get here. So we like get there, and he's like, table for two. And they're like, oh, right this way. And he's like looking around because there was like so many people waiting. And he's like, that's weird. Like we just skipped the line. I'm like, I don't know. Weird. And I never told him that like Gabby was my roommate and she was our server. And I was like, it was just funny because he just thinks we're like on this blind date, and I have like full like protection around me.
Yeah.
And she knew at any point, like if something was weird or we had to go, like she was there for me to like handle it. So we have our blind date. We were there for 6 hours. Like we literally stayed till closing. And I mean, that night I was like, this is my husband. And I had like a literal checklist I had made of what my husband like had to have down to his height, his hair color, his like everything. And Aaron checked everything off.
Can I tell you something though?
Yeah, tell me.
I had the checklist once upon a time. I went on a few dates with somebody who like literally checked every box, like to a T, gold star, whatever. But like we kissed, no spark, no nothing. And multiple people are like, you can find the spark. Like, I'm like, you cannot create that.
No, you can't make up a spark.
No,
in a kiss?
And like,
are we kidding?
You can't just like try it multiple times and like hope it comes. Like it either.
I know
it either happens or it doesn't, and it's
I know.
I wanted it to work so bad.
You really actually did.
I did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on another date. Okay, and then I was like 3, 4, 5 months later, I'm like, he still hasn't given up, and I guess like I've been pushing it off, but like I guess I'll try again.
Yeah.
And it just like was never there, and I was so sad. So I was like, okay, I guess the checklist thing doesn't work.
I guess it's not. Well, maybe you needed to add like sparks when kiss on your checklist.
Okay, maybe.
But like for me, I had gone through like I was in a long relationship like all through high school, and then I went through a like big season of being single, and like for that time like literally no one would even hit on me. Like I didn't have like a single, and my friends were getting hit on all the time, and I was just like no one would even look at me. Like I felt invisible.
You're
looking
like,
back,
what is wrong with me? That's the question.
So I was like looking back, like I really didn't like look very great at the time, and I don't really blame anyone for not hitting on me. I was like like my hair color was weird, like I dressed really weird, but I felt really good, so that's all that matters. Like I thought I was like super cute. Looking back, I'm like, okay, there was a reason I was single, but also I had a lot of like
you were working on yourself, you were dealing with
like
stuff,
family stuff, like all sorts of things. I was not ready for a man, but I felt like I was just like, I've been waiting and like making a checklist, and mind you, I'm like 20. And I was like, for some reason, like the height, like I wanted my husband to be 6'2" because I'm 5'2", and I wanted him to be a foot taller than me, and that was a weird thing. But when I like asked him how tall he was, he's like, I'm 6'2". I was like, this is my husband. Like it was like so dramatic. But I that night I just knew he was my husband.
Yeah.
I also knew like there were things that were like about both of us that we were like young, immature, probably nowhere near marriage, but we literally moved in together like 6 weeks after that, which is bizarre. Like looking back, I'm like
6 weeks after?
Yeah. 6 weeks. Is that like, yeah, pick your jaws up. Weird. I don't know how like my parents didn't like, I mean, they cut me off. They were like, if you're going to live with a man, then you got it, girl. And I was like, okay. I made like $7.25 an hour. I was like, I got this. It was like my first job. Felt pretty like good about it.
Yeah.
Was very oblivious to like the real world at this time. So I was like, okay, I am going to
do it.
My man's going to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. Again, this is why I'm always like, we could have grown together, grown apart.
Right.
We went through a lot. We literally grew up together. It feels like he was 25 and I was 21, I think, when we met. So we were young. We were young and like doing like crazy things, you know, like going out every night, and like no, like work wasn't really like that important to us. We had jobs that like paid the bills, but that was it. Like they weren't passionate.
You weren't investing in your careers.
Like thinking like we're going to have kids one day. We want to have a home one day. We were just like, we spent every dollar we had because what else would we do with it? You know,
Yeah.
There was no, we were extremely immature, but we were just like so in love. So it was like, whatever. And we had some tough times. Like we went through some tough seasons of just like, we were young, we were growing, we're like trying
all before marriage?
All before marriage and through marriage.
Yeah.
But like, it was just like, you know, I personally think that girls mature a little quicker than men. It's just my opinion. So like I was getting to the point where I was starting to like think more future, and he's like still wants to go out every night and like have guys nights and and I'm like, why do you need guys nights? You have me. Like but anyway, so we went through those seasons. We got engaged like I think 8 months after we met.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was super quick. Everyone's like, "What? You're engaged?" I'm
like, that was another like.
Yeah, like people were like, "You're engaged? Like you're engaged? What do you mean you're engaged? You were single."
Like we don't really know this man. I met him twice.
Yeah, my parents like lived in Mississippi at the time, so they hadn't even like hardly met him. Like it was just like all this like, "Whoa, girl, you're doing all that?" Like, but I was so sure. Like he was sure, I was sure. He had friends that were like, "You're engaged." Like Aaron Metrogene proposed to someone, like they're like, no, we must have the wrong guy. And I'm like, no, he's my soulmate. And they're like, he has a girlfriend. Like it was just like this whole, like we were just.
And I could never, I could
Right?
never imagine not you and Aaron.
I know, me either. Shout out to the hubby. But so we get married. We literally have gone through, like, I mean, we've almost been married for 10 years. And like the amount of growth and the things we have been through in these 10 years, I mean, it's hard being married. Like, it is like, there's times where I like, and he won't care if I say this because he knows, but I've been like, I don't even like him. Like, I don't even like him. I don't like him. I can't believe I'm married to him. I don't like him. I don't like him. Like, I have to spend the rest of my life with him. I don't even like him. Like, and he's probably felt the same way about me, because sometimes you get really caught up in yourself, especially now with kids, the kids, work, all these things. Your marriage gets neglected, and it's the most important thing. Like, I'm like...
Well, that's like your relationship with God. Like, if that isn't first and then your marriage isn't first.
Right
then,
under
like,
it.
what happens with your children?
Right.
So it's like you have to make sure that those relationships are being fed, because if those aren't being fed, everything under it
won't be fed.
No.
It won't.
It will hurt.
And like that's part of my, like, when I say, like, after I was saved and started giving my life more to God and living a different way, like, that also included treating my marriage different and treating it more sacred and treating him like he is as important as he is to me, like showing him that. Because I'll be the first to admit I wasn't. Like, I'd come home from work and be like, I just need to go take a bath and like go to bed. Like, I don't need to do whatever, like watch a movie, hang out with you. Like, I really just don't. Like, I'm tired. I love you. You know that I love you. And a lot of times it was becoming like an excuse of like, it was just easy to like not have to pour into it because I knew he was there. Mm-hmm. I knew he loved me. He is like the best. He literally has never even like I think about it, like when I get mad, like I lash out and I'll say things I don't mean and things that like could probably hurt him and that he could hold on to. And he doesn't do that to me. Like, he's never lashed out on me. He's never like called me a name. Like, he literally definitely was my God sent husband because he handles me very well. But there's been times where I have like definitely been not
You're in love with him,
wife.
but you don't like him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
I love you, but I don't like you.
There's been times of like, like, are you kidding me? And in those moments you can either...
You can't break up.
No.
You're stuck.
Like, there's times where I'm like, I want to break up with you. Like, if we were just dating, I'd break up with you. And he's like, nice. Like, that's nice. I haven't said that in a long time, but like, there's been seasons where you like navigate things that are so hard that you're just like, I can't believe I'm in this. Like, I don't know what to do. And like, that's why I'm always like, marriage is tough. Like, you have to work through that stuff. Cause if you don't, I mean, I think that's why a lot of people end up splitting. Cause it's just like, this is too hard. I can't do this. Like, you're annoying. And that's why I'm like, be picky about who you're with for the rest of your life. I mean, you got to like live with this person. You sleep with this person. You wake up. If how they breathe bothers you, then like, don't be with them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, those little things do matter. You can't change those kind of things.
No, but
like,
even things of like, do you put the dishes in the sink? Do you put them in the
now? See, dishes
washing
are
machine,
an issue.
You know what I mean? Washing machine,
dishwasher. That's Aaron's.
Ooh.
And then that boy be filling it and just not starting it, just not starting the dishwasher. So then we have a dirty dishwasher. See, that stuff. I mean, that's the stuff that really does happen, and it's like you can either get annoyed by it. I've just come to accept it. Every now and then, I'm like, hey, you still don't really start the dishwasher. And he's like, oh God, I thought I did. And it's just a little gentle reminder. But I used to like get like a fight would start from it. And I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah, like, what's worth it? Pick your battles.
Yeah, there's things I'm doing that bother him. I know for a fact.
But I think that's also important. And I don't know if y'all have done this, but like the love languages, like what is important to you might not be important to him. So like he may really need physical touch.
He does.
But you might need to feel appreciated with gifts.
And I need words.
You need words.
So
I'm picking.
But yeah, for me, I mean, those are two very different things.
You cut me off.
Sorry.
But yeah, those are two very different things.
Yeah, they
that
are.
Like, if he were to, because he needs physical touch, show you physical touch.
Right.
You might be like, the last thing I want right now is to be touched.
That's
and like
true.
That could be a big break. Like
it is.
That's not it for y'all.
Right.
So it's like very important to even know those and get to know those early on.
And to learn that sometimes you have to make sacrifices to pour into those. So,
Right.
like, my thing, like, it's like, I'm going to do what makes you happy because I know that makes you happy, and I want you to do it for me too. So I like go out of the way to like make sure, even though it's not my love language, I'm going to do what
you have
his
to
love
be the one
language
to
is.
fill his
Right.
cup.
I know what makes him happy. I know what makes him feel valued. I know what makes him feel loved.
Right.
So I'm like putting out forth effort to do that for him. And like I wasn't. What you did? All right. This is PG. But like I wasn't doing what he needed from me because I was just making excuses. I'm tired. He's going to be there. He's going to love me like regardless. And guess what? That causes resentment in your marriage, and then your house is just like tense. Like once the kids are asleep, you're like,
oh, you're the only person I have to look at now.
Oh, great. Now it's me and you. Hey,
Right.
how was your day? And like you don't want to feel like that. And honestly, I've just as I've become more on fire for Jesus, I have become way more on fire for my husband. Like I feel like we're dating again. It's like we're just like this like happy flirty like couple that we used to be, and we have 3 babies, and it's effortless. It's easy because I'm pouring into where I'm supposed to.
Right.
And it's God first, and then it's my husband, and then it's my children. And it's hard. Like it's hard to like come to terms with you have to technically like love and pour into your husband more than your babies, because you're like, no, my babies are my babies. Like I grew them, I birthed them.
I
they
think
come
a lot
first.
of moms have
issues
with that. They're like, if it's between my husband and my kids, like it's my kids.
And I was that a year ago. I was like, you best believe
Right.
them 3 come before you.
Because that's all
I've
they
literally
only
told
have
them
you. Because they only have you. But
it's wrong.
if your marriage is not,
It is wrong. You don't have to pick. If your marriage is solid, you don't have to pick. My kids come before you, or you come before my kid.
but
like,
your kids see that if you're picking them before your spouse, like
Yep.
your kids are like, but what about dad?
Yeah.
Or,
Ezra has
but what
asked
about
me before.
mom?
He's
Yeah.
like, is that annoying you? And I'm like, oh, I hate that you even say that. But like, he could tell when I'd be like, Aaron, hold on. I gotta, and like they pick up on that. But when
Yeah.
they see us like having this beautiful relationship in front of them and like happy,
And then raising the kids together.
then they're happy and everyone's happy. And it's just like, you don't really realize, I mean, I didn't realize like how important it was to pour into my husband the way I should have been until I started doing it, and how happy and like fun my life feels.
Yeah.
Like the comparison is like, it used to feel more like a chore. Like I gotta go home and we gotta, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, I'm tired. I had a long day. But like, that's not what we're called to do. Like as a wife and as a husband, you are called to care for each other and be one flesh.
Yeah.
And know that like without your relationship and without your foundation, like you said, everything under us will trickle and fail.
Yeah.
And that's not my goal. You kidding me?
Right.
Like my babies need to have the parents that they deserve, and me and Aaron deserve it.
Yeah.
We deserve to have a fun, good relationship and not
But
be
that's
like
why
on
you
the back
made
burner.
that. But that's why you chose to make that commitment.
Yes.
And sacrament, because that is who
Right.
you're supposed to be with. He is calling you.
Yes.
To
and
be
those words
higher.
are so important. Like when you get married, they're like, I do. And I promise in sickness and in health. And like you're repeating it all, and you're young and you're happy and you're like, we're getting married.
You're like, I hear this every other weekend at a different friend's wedding.
Yeah.
In sickness and in health, for
I have
richer,
it
for
memorized.
poorer.
Yeah.
But like when those
hits,
things happen.
when it hits, like when the bank account there's negative and you're like.
And your friend Kristen's calling you to go to dinner, and Aaron's like, you can't go to dinner with her.
Right.
And I'm like, but why?
Just we'll figure it out. Like I'll know, like we were young, we didn't have kids yet. We were in Disney World, and like we were like getting lunch, and the card declined, and I was like, that's weird. And I look, and it's like negative $279 in our account, and I'm like, and it was like day 1 in Disney World, and I'm like, Aaron, hey, and he's like, what? And like I'm the bills girly, like I'm the financial, like. He doesn't even like pay attention, like especially back then. Now he's more involved, but like when we were first dating, like he's like, what? I'm like, the card just declined. He's like, oh, really weird. And I'm like, easy for you to stay weird, like you don't even. And then it starts a fight, and then it's like we're looking, and I'm like, we have negative $279, like what do we do? And it started a fight, and we were tense, and we were just like, guys, we have to use a credit card the whole week, and then we're gonna be, and it's all this stuff, and it's like that stuff you made a vow to, like, and for richer or for poor. Like, okay, now we're poor. Like, we got to figure this out together. But instead,
and we got to do it together. Like, I'm not leaving this trip to go make some money so you can stay and figure this out.
We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we did, obviously, but it's just like those moments you don't prepare for until they're in front of you. And then you're like, oh, shoot.
Is this the person I want to walk through this with?
Yes. Like, are you going to be a teammate or are you going to be against me in this? Because, like, there were times, like I just said, like, we would be against each other and we're like, it's like you're trying to run up a hill and you're just not even moving. And it's like, what are we doing this for? Like, what are we doing? So to find someone that you know, like, is your teammate, your person, is so important.
Right.
So being picky, there's nothing wrong with that. And I truly, like, I was so young at the time. I really wasn't being picky. That's, again, why I'm always like, we really lucked out. But, like, I was just like, I wanted a husband. I wanted him to be hot. Like, and when I saw Aaron, I was like, he is so, like, he was actually the girl was setting Aaron up with someone else. And I, like, saw his picture and was like, no, you're setting him up with me. And she was like, okay. And the other girl's like, I don't care. Show me someone else. Like, it was just like this, like
free and fun.
Yeah,
and, like,
we were
friendly,
just, like, at
whatever,
work in the break room,
going.
just, like, chatting. And I was like, he is so hot. Like, I remember just being like, that's all that I cared about. He is so hot. He is so hot. He is so hot. And, like, really, that's all I was, like, really looking at the time. So, like, again, got lucky here that we grew together.
You made it.
Grew in our faith. And we're, like, just getting stronger all the time. But, like, I could have been blinded by the looks.
Right.
Who knew?
Yeah.
You know? So, like, that's definitely not all about the looks. And it's definitely, like, okay to dig deep into your person and make sure
that they for you.
That they do be for you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm so grateful and, like, how different our stories are, right? Like, I'm going on a decade of being married. And, like, we're about to start a dating series. Again, just a reminder, if you have someone, hop in my DMs for Kristen. But it's, again, just like an amazing thing for y'all to see that we are on two different pages. We are in two completely different seasons, but at the same time, just so relatable. And it's okay to, like, be there for people who are in different seasons, be happy for people who are in different seasons, but also your feelings are valid. Like,
in
feeling
both
lonely,
scenarios.
and then in marriage, when you're just like, why am I married? This is so hard. Like, I didn't
I
sign up for this.
I want to pack a bag and I want to go.
The amount of times I'm just like,
and then sometimes when I pack a bag and go, I'm like, I wish I was sitting at home with 3 kids.
Yeah, it's just like, it's true.
And
like,
a husband cooking dinner.
You and your husband even say, like, me and Aaron have been like, wish we could just go do this, but it's just, like, too much. Like, it's too hard with the kids.
Or
like,
even if I'm traveling, like, I wish I was meeting a boyfriend on a plane, like, so we could go to Europe. Like, I would love to go to Europe with my friends. Whoever wants to go, let's go. But like you
want it.
Right.
With someone.
Especially,
like,
you know, when it's gotten really hard.
What, girl?
Is when you go to destination weddings and everybody, like, goes with their person and gets their hotel rooms.
It's like a full trip.
I think I told her this recently.
You did.
I went on one and it was not my first and probably won't be my last, but it was like, it was expensive. It was a trip where you had to get a hotel room at a nice resort. And, you know, it was like everybody was going with their spouse and their dual incomes and it was fine. And, like, cool. I want to go. I want to go support my friend that's getting married.
Yeah, you want to be at the wedding.
But, like, I sometimes can't do it alone. And sometimes I don't want to do it alone.
Right.
One of my friends got married in Italy and I literally told her this last summer. I was like, I'm going to be honest. I didn't come. Not because I don't love you. I love you. I'm here to support you through all of it.
Right.
I couldn't financially, like, just do it on my own.
Right.
But secondly, like, every other person that went and that was around you the whole weekend, it was them and their spouse.
Right.
Or them and their fiance.
Right. A partner.
And, like, I'm going to tell you, I was a little scared and I didn't come and support you in that. And I'm sorry, but, like.
You weren't.
I was.
You weren't there.
No.
You weren't ready.
It would have been a really hard.
To be alone on something like that.
No, it would have been a really hard place for me to be.
Yeah.
And, like,
and that
it does get hard sometimes.
I really do. Like, that is something that's just, like, you had to listen to, like, because if you would have been there, you could have very well been just, like,
I would have been like, oh, great. Why am I the only one here? Oh, I'm in my room by myself.
Yeah.
Great. I want to go, like, have a drink at the bar because I'm in Italy and I want to go experience stuff, but nobody's going to come with me because they're sleeping in their room with their spouse.
Yeah.
or fiance.
Yeah, that's
or
tough.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like scenarios like that are really hard for me
Right.
to get through. And like I verbally told my friend that.
That's
and she
great.
was like, I'm so mad at all these boys. I'm like, it just is what it is.
We're all rooting for you. I mean, Aaron's probably rooting for you the most because he would really like to have a buddy. He's going to probably have to review my
poor friends. And you know what else was really hard? When this hasn't happened in a while because I think I've made it known, but like there were times where I would not get invited places because it was like couples wanted to go and they're like, well, we felt bad inviting you because like you would have been by yourself. And I'm like, it's worse that you didn't invite me because now I like really like now I really feel left out.
Yeah.
Like let me
like
pick the room.
Y'all are seeing that I'm alone, so now it's like
but like now it's even worse because you four went and then like
let me pick
I don't
if
even
I
get to go. Yeah, so it's like if you're going through stuff like that, I understand, I get it, it's valid.
Yep.
Some days I'm okay with it and I can be a fifth wheel. Some days I'm like
you're not there.
I can go find something else.
Yeah.
Or I can stay home.
It's true. And like same with like marriage. Like if you're in a season of like your marriage feels tough and heavy and like you're going through something that just isn't like you're just not meeting eye to eye or whatever, like this is part of marriage. They say like falling in love is easy because it's like you tripped. Okay. Like when you trip, it's not on purpose. It just happens. It was easy. It's quick. But staying in love is hard. It is hard and it is work and you have to commit to that. But more importantly, you have to commit to Jesus and know that the foundation of your marriage comes from that. And I'm telling you,
you have to be on the same page with that.
You have to.
And
you have to because there's been times like Aaron's been more in touch with God or I've been more in touch with God. And it's been like one of us is like pulling for the other to be like, we have to do this or we should be doing this. And the other one's not there. So like being on the same page with that has been so good for us. And I think that's part of like us going to church every week. That's another reason we do it. It's not just for like our relationship with God individually, but like our marriage. And then we get to talk about what we heard that day and it brings us new conversations. Our kids are there. Like it's all part of that foundation for us. So it's just, if that's something you're lacking in your marriage, like I just encourage you to give it a try to find that.
Amen.
Well, I'll finish with my verse, I guess. It's not my verse. Like it's still.
Is this the Flash?
No, I did this one. Yeah,
okay.
This is which I love that one too.
Yeah, we'll read it.
Yeah, we'll find it, but I have to find it. Can you find it? Oh,
give me your phone.
I was like, wait, you don't have your phone. You find that one while I do this. Also,
see, I'm not a Bible girly. I can tell you what scripture quote it is, but I can't tell you it off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, me either. Okay, so let me find it. I just thought this was a sweet one. Proverbs 18:22. The man who finds a wife finds a treasure, and he receives favor from the Lord. So just talking about how truly your wife, your husband, your spouse, like that is your treasure that God sent you. The same way we say like babies are the biggest gift from the Lord, like your spouse is your treasure. I mean, that is just like a powerful way to put it. And you just need to always look at them as your treasure. And that's what something I've really like. I have a really good husband who does a lot for me and a lot for my family. And I need to value him as if he is the treasure of our home. And he is. He's my treasure. He better love me for this.
Shout out, Aaron.
I'm being so nice.
Yeah. We're going to get him on here one day.
I can't wait.
Yeah. There's a few, but this one comes from Genesis. It's Genesis 2:18. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." And out of the ground the Lord God formed every animal on the field and every bird of the sky and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called a living creature, that was its name. The man gave names to all the livestock and for the birds and to every animal of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper suitable for him. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. Then the Lord God fashioned it into a woman, the rib which he had taken from the man, and brought her to the man. Then the man said, "At last, this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of the man. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked, and they were not ashamed.
I love that one.
Me too.
It's just so precious, and it's so sweet, and it's just truly like when you're picking that person and when you're committing to that person, you are becoming one.
Yeah. You're making
flesh.
that vow.
You are literally giving your rib to the other person.
And you're finding intimacy in ways of like starting with conversations and being one and then trickling down into creating a family.
And battling anything that comes your way and just knowing that like you're one. You will do this together.
Amen.
So whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're dating, whether you're just like starting a new little fling, just know God has you right where you're supposed to be, and his plan is always greater. And to just have faith in God and just like
know your value, know your worth.
Value, and know that he's the foundation of where it all begins.
Amen.
Amen. Don't forget to send me your applications for Kristen's dating series.